श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधे सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं गपद्वयं बहुप्रसारभक्षितं उमासुतं योगविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं श्रीवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् व्यासं वष्टनप्तारं जगते पौत्रमङ्गलं शम्बराशरात्मनो वन्दे जगदादं तुभारितिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमामि ब्रह्मणदये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमास्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. So Arjuna defeated all the Kuru warriors, and Uttara took the clothes from all the warriors except Bhishma as per Arjuna's instruction. And then after defeating all of them, then Arjuna tells Uttara that now let's go back to Viramatsya city, right? Virata city, let's go back there. And he tells Uttara that you know that all the Pandavas are living in your kingdom with your father, but when you go back, return to your city, don't start talking about us and saying that this is Yudhishthira, this is Bhima, Arjuna, and things like that. Don't start saying that. We will mention it when we are ready, but you go there and say that this war has been won by you and you have defeated all the Kurus. So just say that. And Uttara says that this, whatever that has been achieved, is beyond my power, but I will do as you say. Till as long as you want me to keep quiet on your secret, I will do that. So having said that, they prepare to return and they go back to the crematorium where they near the Shami tree, and Arjuna's injured all over his body with the arrows from the Kuru warriors. So once he goes there, the flag Arjuna had, the monkey that was there, that flew to the sky, and Uttara's original flag was put back on the chariot, and then they collect all the arrows and all the weapons, and together with Gandiva and everything, they tie that, and then they put that on the tree. And then Arjuna tells Uttara that we have collected all the cows anyway, so they have been rescued from the Kurus. So let the cowards take them to the city, and one of the messenger let him go and tell the king that you have won the battle, you have recovered the cows, and you are safe. So meanwhile, we take our horses to the water and let them take some rest, and we will reach the city in the afternoon. So Uttara agrees to that, and he immediately sends some messengers to the city and informing about the victory and also recovery of all the cows that were taken away by the Kurus. And after that, they put all the weapons in that Shami tree, just as it was before. Arjuna becomes Brahmanala again, ties his hair back just like it was before, and puts all the bangles and all those things. And it looks like Brahmanala as he was before coming to the war. Here, in the city, Virata, after returning from the war, he went on with Trigartas. He comes back and he was celebrating that victory in his assembly, and he looks around. He didn't see Uttara anywhere, and he asked, "Where is Uttara?" And all the ladies then come and says that Kurus seized all the cows, and to rescue that, Bhumanjaya, showing his bravery, along with Brahmanala, he went to battle with Bhishma, Kripacharya, Karna, Duryodhana, Drona, Ashwatthama, and everybody else. Listening to this, Virata becomes very worried because he knew that Uttara is not capable of defacing any of them. So immediately he says that without a doubt, those Kauravas have defeated Uttara and Branala by now. So everyone prepare. He orders all the foot soldiers and horses, elephants, whoever is not injured in the previous battle with Trigartas. He tells them, get ready and go and support Uttara. And immediately he orders that. So he also says that because he has gone with that uh, charioteer of third sex with Brahmanala, I'm sure my son is not alive. But you go and protect, do whatever you can and see them. So he immediately orders everything. Listening to this, Yudhishthira smilingly, he was there. He says that, O king, don't worry, Brahmanala, you have Brahmanala as the charioteer. Your enemies will not be able to take any cows today. He is protected by that charioteer. Your son will definitely will defeat all the Kurus, even if Devatas, Asuras, Siddhas, Yakshas, everything will come together. Still, Brahmanala will make sure that your son is victorious. So, while Virata was dispatching those soldiers and everybody to support Uttara, immediately the messenger comes and he gives the message through the minister that all the cows have been recovered and Kurus have been defeated in the battle, and Uttara is very well along with his charioteer. So Yudhishthira, hearing this messenger telling that to Virata, and Yudhishthira listens and he says that it is by good luck that the cows have been recovered, Kurus have been defeated, and I am not surprised at all because Brahmanala is such a charioteer is there, the victory is guaranteed. There was no doubt about the victory with Brahmanala as the charioteer. And hearing this, Virata becomes very happy that his son has won the battle. He becomes very happy and he asks entire city to be decorated and all the music and everything to be played everywhere. Party. He orders for a huge party in the city and welcome Uttara when he returns. And immediately the entire city prepares and he goes and orders Sairandri to bring the dice. He says that I want to play a dice game, go and bring the dice. And at that time, Yudhishthira says that when one is very much in happiness, they should not go on the gambling. It applies to both happiness and sadness because the mind is not under control, so one should not gamble. And Yudhishthira warns that you should not gamble when you are so much in happiness. So please don't play. But if you order me, I will play with you. And Virata then says, whatever it is that I'm going to lose today, I don't care whether it is my cows, gold, whatever that wealth I have, I'm ready to bet everything. But I want to gamble today. He was so excited, he wanted to play a game. And again, Kanka says that you probably heard of Yudhishthira in Indraprastha. He lost all his kingdom and everything, including his brothers. He lost that in the gambling. Gambling is one of the is the evil, and it should never be entertained. And one should not do gambling, get into gambling. And he warns again, but please tell me if you still want to play. And Yudhishthira does all the warning, but Virata says, let's play. And then they start a game. And while they are playing, Virata could not control his excitement. He says that, oh, my son defeated the Kauravas. He defeated all the Kauravas with Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, Ashwatthama, Karna, Duryodhana, and everybody together he defeated. And Yudhishthira, while playing with him, he says that why he should not defeat those people with Brahmanala as his charioteer. When Brahmanala is there, what is there to worry about for Uttara? And with this, the king of Matsya, Virata, becomes very angry. He shouts at Yudhishthira saying that you've been praising that third sex, neuter sex person with my son. He's comparing with my son. You have no knowledge of when to say what to say. Without doubt, you are disregarding me, and you're already repeating again and again, saying that wherever Brahmanala is there, Uttara's victory is guaranteed. And he shouts at Yudhishthira saying that Bhishma, Drona, everybody has been defeated by my son, but you are talking about that person of third sex. Yudhishthira says, where there is Bhishma, Drona, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, Karna, Kripacharya, Duryodhana, and all the other warriors are there. And even if Indra is surrounded with them, Marutas and everybody is surrounded there, apart from Brahmanala, who else can face them? There is nobody else that is equal to him in the strength, and there is nobody equal to him in knowledge of weapons and celestial weapons. And so, whether it is the Devatas or Asuras or humans or everybody fighting together, who else there than Brahmanala who can face them? So, with one such person in your ally, having that, how what is the surprise that your son did not lose the battle? So he won the battle. So what is their surprise? And Virata becomes very, very angry now. And he says that even if I told you to stop praising that, comparing that Brahmanala to my son and praising that Brahmanala, uh, you keep doing this. And he says that if there is no one to punish, people won't practice virtue. Here in Virata's eyes, the speech. Okay, Yudhishthira is not controlling his speech. He says that if nobody is punishing, you will continue repeating the same mistake again and again. So he's with that, he immediately with the dice in his hand, he throws at Yudhishthira, Yudhishthira's face. That hits Yudhishthira, and his from his nose, the blood starts flowing, and immediately he puts his hand and captures that blood so that it doesn't fall onto the ground. And he looks at Draupadi. Draupadi immediately understanding what Yudhishthira is looking for, goes and gets a bowl with water in it, and Yudhishthira pours that blood, whatever in his hand, and all the blood falls into that bowl so that it doesn't touch the uh, uh, earth, so it doesn't fall to the earth. So meanwhile, Uttara with Arjuna as Brahmana enters the city, and Matsya king orders him that he should come to the assembly and meet him. And with that, while listening to this, Yudhishthira sends a message to Brahmanala that he should go to his apartment and then come back a little bit later. And he says that if that Brahmanala realizes that I am bleeding here uh, in my nose, and if any blood from my body falls, except in a battle, that person, whoever causes that blood, will not survive. So in front, when if Prahanada sees this, that's why. So send him to apartment directly and then ask him to come back a little bit later. And with that, the messenger goes and tells Prahanada not to enter the assembly, only Uttara comes. And when he comes, he first goes and worships the feet of his father, and then he goes and approaches Kanka, and he sees Kanka bleeding in his nose, and then he asks what happened, why this blood, and then Uttara Virata says that this Brahmana keeps praising that uh, Brahmanala and comparing Brahmanala to you, and that's why I struck him. And Uttara says that you have done a very improper action here, because you should not be punishing Brahmanas like that. Because if you remember, Yudhishthira was in the disguise of a Brahmana, right? So he says that if Uttara says that if Brahmana get angry, he might burn the entire generation, entire city with his anger. So please ask for forgiveness from that Brahmana. And Uttara also asked forgiveness from Kanka. And immediately Yudhishthira says that I have already forgiven long back when the king hit me. That time itself I have forgiven. I don't have any anger towards the king. And if this blood had touched the uh, ground, then entire kingdom would have been destroyed. But I did not I made sure that the blood does not fall onto the ground. So always, this is always normal that those who are powerful always act unreasonably. They always give unreasonable punishment. So if somebody has powers, they normally do unreasonable punishment. So Yudhishthira says that, and then while they are talking like that, bleeding has stopped, and little while later, Brihanada also comes there, and then King Virata was praising Uttara, saying that you defeated Drona, you defeated Shantanu's son Bhishma, who is nobody is equal to him, and then Drona, who has all the celestial weapons, and he's a Brahmana as well, and then Kripacharya, Ashwatthama, Karna, Duryodhana, and everybody, you defeated all of them, and then you got all the wealth back, the cows and the wealth that were Kurus were taking, he got all that back, and he was praising his son with along with everybody. And but Uttara says that the cows and things like that were not uh, recovered by me, and the enemy was not defeated by me. In fact, when I saw those people, my legs started shaking, and I was about to run from the battlefield. At that time, a celestial devata came there, and that person came there, and he told me to take the reins of the horses, and he climbed on the chariot, and he is the one with his arrows. He defeated Kripacharya, Drona, Ashwatthama, and everybody else. So he he is the one who defeated. I did not do anything, and he is the one who killed that huge elephant with a single arrow that coming across and like a mountain, and he defeated that. And when all the Kurus were Duryodhana was running away, he is the one who laughed at Duryodhana and said, "Why are you running away? You, are you scared of your life? You came here for a fight." And he laughed at Duryodhana like that. So that person is when all the Kurus, when Duryodhana returned and all the Kurus came together fighting, still single-handedly he faced all of them and then fought them and defeated. And Virata then says, "Where is that person that came to help you?" And then, but Uttara says that that person immediately after the battle he disappeared, but he might come back in a day or two. He might come back here. He said he will come back, but we have to wait for his arrival. And with that, Virata did not know that Pandu's sons are actually were there, and then so they again Virata with Virata's permission, Brihanada gives the cloths that was brought from the battle to Uttara, and Uttara takes all that and becomes very much delighted with the looking at all the clothes of Drona, Karna, Duryodhana, and everybody else's clothes. Then after 3 days, Pandavas taking bath and doing all the morning rituals and everything, dressed up fully like a Kshatriyas do. They came with all the fully dressed up with all as with Yudhishthira leading their way. They came to the Virata's assembly and they took up the seats where normally reserved for the kings, visiting kings and others. So they took those seats. While they were sitting, Virata comes to his assembly, and there he sees Kanka sitting dressed like a Devata, celestial Indra himself, dressed like that, and then sitting there in the place reserved for the kings. And he says, "You are a player of dice game, and you are my entertainer. How come you sit in the royal seat?" And when he was getting angry like that, Arjuna stands up and he says that this person deserves to occupy the same seat as Indra himself. He is devoted to Brahmanas, he is acquainted to all the Vedas. He doesn't have any enjoyment in luxury or lust. He is always performing the sacrifices. He is steady in his vows. And this one, he is the Dharma himself. He is the Dharma himself. And this person is having all the energy and he's superior to everybody on the earth in terms of intelligence. He is devoted to asceticism. He is cognizant all the weapons, and there is nobody on in the world who is possessed of weapons like he has. And he is among there is nobody among devatas, asuras, humans, rakshasas, gandharvas, yakshas, kinnaras, everybody like him. And he says that this person is having great foresight, his energy, his beloved, he's loved by his citizens, and of all the provinces, not just by his kingdom, but even outside his kingdom, people love him. And he is a very strong warrior as well. He's performed a lot of sacrifices, he's devoted to morality, he's controlled his passions like a great rishi. And this royal rishi, this royal, this Raja Rishi, he is celebrated and respected all over the world. And he says that he is great, he is possessed of great strength, intelligence, and always truthful, and he has senses under complete control. He is like equal to Indra in wealth and Kubera in accumulating the wealth. And he is the protector of all the worlds, like Manu himself. And he is of great might, and such a person. This is no other than Yudhishthira himself, and he says that the achievements of this king is like Surya himself. Is wherever he brightens up every place that he goes, and so he praises him like that, and he says that the Kauravas and all the kings of the earth are used to wait upon him like celestials wait upon Indra and like that. So he's like that. So that king is here, whether he always protects the aged, helpless, the disabled, and he rules his subjects virtuously. Such a king, and he is always looking after 80,000 Snataka Brahmanas in his kingdom, and, who are truthful and uh, observe, wow, observing Brahmanas, and is such a king he is. And but he is because of that dice game, he had to spend his time like this, and Arjuna explains that that Yudhishthira is always devoted to morality and abstains from injuries. He is seems and such a king, it deserves definitely deserves a seat. Do you not agree? Arjuna asks that, and Virata, listening to all this, he says that if this is Yudhishthira, who among these people is Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, and where is that Draupadi? I heard that after dice game they left the king Hastinapura, but I haven't heard anything after that. And Arjuna says that this one Ballava is your cook, is Bhima, and he is the one who defeated the Rakshasas in Gandhamadana mountain. And for Draupadi, he bought that great flower Saugandhika Pushpa in Gandhamadana mountain, and he is the one who defeated your Kichaka uh, along for in this kingdom while residing here, and also all the tigers and bears and boars and everything, all the wild animals he used to fight for entertainment here for the last year. And then he introduces Nakula Sahadeva as the keepers of horses and cows, and also he says that that lady is Sairandri, your wife Sairandri is none other than uh, Draupadi himself, and I am Arjuna. And he says that I am junior to Bhima and elder to these twins. So we spent our time, non-discovery time, like children in the wombs of their mother, happily in your kingdom. So once Arjuna says that, Virata uh, lost for words. At that time, Uttara again jumps in and he says that the one with gold complexion, who is very stout, fully grown like lion, and who has a very large eyes, and that person brought face is very broad and like a coppery color. That's he is Yudhishthira. And then he pointing at Bhima, he says that this one always looks like a angry elephant, looking like a heated gold and broad shoulders. That's Vrikodara. And then this is darkish color, is the looking like a leader of the elephant herd, and with broad shoulders, broad like a lion shoulder, and very strong. And this person with eyes looking like very like lotus leaves, that's Arjuna. And then he looks at um, the twins, Madri's children, and then he says that these are like Vishnu and Indra, the brothers. They are nobody equal to them in the beauty and strength and behavior, and they are Nakula and Sadeva. And then that lady there, looking like Lakshmi herself, who is like a Devata herself, Devi herself, looking gold color, and that's Krishna. And he introduces them, and then he again says that, uh, pointing at Arjuna, Uttara says that even this is the one who defeated the Kurus in that uh, battle uh, 3 days ago, and he is the one with a single arrow killed that huge elephant that was Vikarna was coming on, and he defeated that with that Bhishma, Drona, Duryodhana, and everybody were defeated by this one and not by me. And hearing this, Virata becomes very worried. and he goes and says to Yudhishthira that I have done so many wrong things to you, and he asks for forgiveness, and he says that I will give my daughter Uttara to Arjuna if that makes you happy. And then uh, at that time, Uttara says that this person definitely requires worthy of worship and respect. So we all should worship these people. And Virata again says that you Bhima defeated Trigartas and rescued me from Trigartas thing, and Arjuna rescued my son and all the wealth from Kurus. So because of you, we are fortunate to have you. But and then he says that I will give my daughter Uttara to Arjuna. And then when he says that, Yudhishthira looks at Arjuna, and Arjuna says that uh, I will uh, I will accept Uttara, but not as a wife. I will accept your daughter as a daughter-in-law. He says that alliance between Matsya and Bharatas is it desirable. I will accept her as my daughter-in-law. That this would Virata ask why you are accepting her as a daughter-in-law and not as your wife. And Arjuna says that for the last 1 year, I was residing in the apartments where ladies used to live, and at that time, there were many times where your daughter was alone with me, and she's already attained her age. And if I marry her now, people will think that we had illicit relationship in that period, 1 year, and that's why we are getting married now. And that will give her bad name, and that will give bad name to us. People will talk of lot of do slanderous and false accusations will be made of us. And moreover, she is my student. A student is like a son or a daughter, right? So she is like my daughter, and there is no difference between daughter and daughter-in-law. So that's why I will accept her as my daughter-in-law. If you agree to give her to my son Abhimanyu, who is nephew of Vasudeva, and he is fit to be your son-in-law. And Virata immediately agrees to that. He says that if my daughter, if my son-in-law's father is Arjuna, I don't have any objections to that. So with that, they agree to that alliance and marriage proposal agreed, and then they immediately prepare for the wedding. Meanwhile, Pandavas go outside of Virata's city and they go and live in a town called Upaplavya. They go and spend their reside there, and meanwhile they send messengers to uh, Drupada and Yadavas. So with that, the Abhimanyu, Krishna, everybody comes there, and also King of Kashi and Drupada with his Draupadi's sons, Shikandini, Drishtadyumna, everybody comes there, comes to Upaplavya. And then Krishna again brings with Balarama, he brings Kritavarman, Yudhana, that is Satyaki, uh, and then Krura, Shamba, Nishada, everybody comes. Indrasena also, who was there with Yudhishthira during the 12 years in the forest, and he was living in Dwaraka, he comes back. So all of them come there, and they all bring a lot of wealth and gift to Yudhishthira and things like that. With all that, the marriage ceremony preparations go and huge celebrations preparations happen, and then uh, Sudeshna leads with Draupadi leads the bride Uttara, uh, dressed up in all the ornaments and everything, brings her, and then the Subhadra accepts uh, with Arjuna accepts her as daughter-in-law, and then Abhimanyu's wedding takes place. So the marriage takes place, and with Yudhishthira uh, at that time gave away all the gift he has received in that marriage to all to the Brahmanas, and then he also gave a lot of land and everything to Brahmanas. So at that time, so the marriage concludes. So the Abhimanyu and Uttara got married. Uh, so with that, the Virata Parva comes to an end. So the Virata Parva, if you remember, of so here Virata Parva, if you remember, starts with Dhaumya's advice. So where he explains how to serve others, right? So how to be a servant of the king or others, how to be a servant, and he gives all the tips how to be behave in those times and the duties, what one needs to do, and how to keep the secrets and all those things. And then Pandavas make their way towards decide where to go. They decide that Matsya Kingdom is the right place, and then on their way, they worship Durga, and then with her blessing, they go and keep their all their weapons in that crematorium in the cemetery, and then they arrive in Matsya Kingdom and present one after another to Virata, and then they become start service in Virata's kingdom. Yudhishthira as Kanka, Bhima as the in the chef kitchen, Arjuna as Brahmanala dancing, teaching, Nakula, Aristonemi and Deva Tantripala looking after horses and cows, and Draupadi as the hairdresser for Sudeshna. So while they were living like that, spent a lot of time, and then Draupadi comes across Kichaka. So Kichaka troubles Draupadi, desires Draupadi, and then Sudeshna sends her to Kichaka. Kichaka pulls her, but Draupadi tries to escape, and finally she goes to Bhima asking for help, right? And then Bhima goes in the and sits in that dance hall, and then Kichaka comes there, and Kichaka is killed by Bhima. Later on, Bhima kills all the Kichaka's brothers as well, 105 of them. And then Trigartas, listening to hearing about Kichaka's death, Trigartas with Kurus plan attack on Virata. So Trigartas capture Virata, but then Bhima, Duryodhana, Bhima, Yudhishthira, and Nakula Sahadeva rescue Virata and then defeat Trigarta king. Then, meanwhile, Kurus attack Virata and take away all the cows and wealth. Arjuna in the form of Brahmanala with Uttara goes there and fights them, defeats them, and then rescues all the wealth, recovers all the wealth, and then returns. So after with that completion of 13 years, 13th year, they come out of their hiding. Pandavas present themselves. Virata gives his daughter Uttara to Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu's wedding concludes. So now the Virata Parva is complete. So with this, we move to the next one called Udyoga Parva. And Udyoga Parva is where the battle preparations start. But before battle, there is a lot of discussions that happen, preparations that including peace process where they try to come to a peace agreement between Kurus and Pandavas, and that preparations takes place. But also that Parva has a lot of other important things. Udyoga Parva, where we will come across what's famously known as Viduraniti. That means Vidura's uh, morality explanations. He explains to Dhritarashtra. He explains to the Dhritarashtra what is good, what is bad, and all the things. So what is right and what is not right, how one should live and conduct, how one should behave. All these things Vidura explains, and then continuation of that, there is a small parva within Udyoga Parva called Sanat Sujata Parva, which is again a rishi. Sanat Sujata comes and explains, answers Dhritarashtra's questions on morality, right, wrongs, and all those things. That's again important. Along with that, there are many, many other stories uh, like Indra Vritra's battle, Yayati's fall from uh, heaven. We have heard about Yayati's fall in Adi Parva. That story repeats again. Nahusha getting cursed by Agastya. We heard that in Vanaparva. That story returns, but other side of the story. So all these stories you heard in Adi Parva, Vanaparva, or different phases of Mahabharata so far, they keep repeating, but with additional information. So those stories keep coming back. There are more and more other stories as well. For example, Indra's charioteer Matali goes looking for a bridegroom for his daughter. Uh, he goes all the words, and Narada narrates that story. So there are, and then Krishna and others going for peace process and things like that. So Karna's situation, various other things. So this all build up to the war. So we will start that looking at that from the next time. So that concludes Virata Parva.